Indie publishing has always been a grab bag, but it's been far less powerful than people like to say. And I don't mean this as a black pill or anything like that. I just mean that in the end, publishers willingly abandoned masters like John C. Wright and Nick Cole, and didn't give men like me, and Brian Niemeyer and others a chance to publish our novels and our work. I'm not talking about quality or whether they would hold up or anything like that, but I'm saying that they destroyed the ability for a right-wing person to be published outside of Baen Publishing. And there's a value in being published by a big author, by a big publisher. And that's in the marketing and the distribution. Every indie author I know that has a bit of a spark to them that's not just I write sci-fi ship series for money, is always concerned and disturbed by raising funds and distributing, and figuring out where they can get their books out. Quite frankly, John C. Wright should be enjoying, George R. Martin's levels of fame, but he doesn't. Is it because George R. R. Martin is just such a better author? Deserves every accolade. Yeah, he deserves accolades, but fundamentally, he's just not a better author than men like John C. Wright or Vox Day or Nick Cole. Even Milo's pen is much more valuable in a real way than George R. R. Martin's slop. What has become slop, I should say. These things being destroyed, the ability for there to be a progression if you can earn it, has destroyed any sort of culture, any sort of power, any sort of effect on the common people. Now, if you go to Barnes & Noble, it's well said that you have this romantasy, and really it's just smut that's for the left, the woke. That's not really as well bought as they say, that oftentimes leads to nothing good, that promotes degeneracy. And worse, people who read this stuff, come away with a spiritual deadness that only is overcome by the nature of Jesus Christ and his death, burial, and resurrection on the cross. At some point we have to say these things that hate God, and they must be overcome. But without a power structure, we are reliant on God giving us the grace to overcome.